Stan hurried up the stairs and slipped into the bathroom, staying hyper-alert to every sound around him. All this sneaking around was for just a few bites of fried chicken. Just then, Bullock walked in and heard the sound of chewing. Stan frantically flushed all the fried chicken down the toilet. Bullock kicked the door open, only to find Stan standing there in the bathroom clutching a fork. The whole mess started a few days earlier. Stan's family had fallen head over heels for fried food, but a ban was issued the very next day, outlawing all products containing trans fats. Stan thought the fried chicken tasted terrible the day it turned out Francine had always cooked with trans fat cooking oil before. Stan was left speechless and had no choice but to toss the food out for the rats. There was not a single trans fat food item left anywhere inside the CIA. Even the kitchen had been dismantled over the trans fat oil ban. Stan drove straight to a small town outside the city limits. His heart raced nervously on the drive back. Even after spotting the prohibition signs, he charged back into town without a second thought. No one could stand the food served at the CIA cafeteria, so Stan resorted to sneaking meals in the bathroom, narrowly avoiding getting caught by Bullock. After that, they simply made fried food at home instead, but Haley refused to take a single bite. On his way back one day, Stan stopped to buy trans fat oil, only to be pulled over by police. He immediately reversed his car to get rid of all the evidence. Once home, Stan said he was being watched, and Francine told him to find some way to get the oil. That's when Stan spotted Steve outside the window and asked him to buy the oil on his behalf. Steve passed every checkpoint without trouble. Stan promised him a pet rabbit as a reward, yet Francine planned to deep fry the rabbit, so Steve smuggled the trans fat oil under the guise of his Boy Scout identity. An elderly woman asked him for a ride, but he had no intention of giving her one. Enraged, the old woman leaped into the air and flew off on her own. On his return trip that day, Steve was stopped by police for not wearing a helmet. He lied and claimed his basket was full of sandwiches. The officer headed to his patrol car to grab money to buy one, terrified of being exposed. Steve stuffed all the fried food into his mouth in one go. When the officer came back with cash, Steve told him he'd sold everything out. The officer then noticed the empty container, so Steve made up an excuse that it was for recycling waste. Steve got home and told Stan he'd nearly been busted, having consumed massive amounts of trans fat. He started feeling physically unwell. Stan wanted to drive him to the hospital, but Steve feared the hospital would expose everything, and even suggested killing the police officer instead right before he blacked out. Steve ended up being rushed to the hospital anyway, and he finally regained consciousness.